I have my 2017 Impreza Limited here, 5-door wagon, in hopes that I can install a set of rocker moldings from the sport model that these limiteds and the base models didn't have. It's just plain metal down there, and it looks kind of ugly. Not to mention that I got a dent. I'm no body man, but I like the sport models anyway. They're just the plastic overmolding that go over this. This is not going to be as straightforward as one might think it could be, because it is designed to snap onto the body of the vehicle, and these rocker moldings have no apparent holes on the side of the body, which you would need to snap on the side here. So it's a little more involved than one might hope it would be. So let's dive in. I'll show you what I'm doing to make it work. Done. That wasn't so bad. Tools you'll need. You'll need 3 or 4 things here. One of them being a flathead screwdriver, kind of with a sharpest end on it. This will help scrape the undercoating off of the body plugs on the rocker molding you need to access and remove. I'm sure there's better scraper blades than this, but this flathead, that's about the size, worked pretty good for what I needed it to do. 2, you're going to have fasteners, the factory fasteners you're still going to reuse on the car, that have a number 2 Phillips head on them. These are the ones you find on the rear of the rocker, as well as the front leading edge that holds the fender well molding on. Also, get a pick tool, because you might find that there's so much dirt inside the fastener, like inside the rocker, that it's not going to allow you to use a screwdriver. And you can use this pick to pry the center portion out to release the fastener. And as far as those body plugs, again, get yourself probably a pry tool. I had a metal one here. It kind of worked for a couple of them, but then I needed this different style of pry tool as well to get those out. And don't worry about messing them up, because you're going to replace them with a whole different fastener anyway. These moldings are just designed to just completely snap on with no like metal fasteners or double-sided tape, anything like that. It's supposed to be just held on by plastic snaps. But the problem is there's no holes anywhere on this rocker on the side or on the bottom that are apparent to let it snap in the vehicle. You see these bigger plugs here, but these don't align with the holes on the bottom of the skirt at all. Who knows what they're for? Maybe there's something to do with the Crosstrek, as it shares the same exact body with the Impreza wagon. Maybe. Well, here's the thing too. Getting holes drilled into the side panel. Well, where do you drill them exactly? It's like you screw up and you just messed up your car permanently. Well, I have a plan for that, and that was to put, as you probably saw, magnets. There's a series of, it would take, let's see, what, 7 snaps? 8 snaps total? Well, yeah, no way I'm going to drill holes in this body. And 1, if I even get them aligned in the first place. 2, if I even did get them correctly in the right spot, well, then you're left with that bare metal edge inside the hole there. You got to worry about rusting out. And even if you do prep it right, or put some paint in there or rust preventative, and then you go to snap the skirt on, well, there's a good chance that the plastic snaps that are supposed to be in here can scrape that paint off, exposing the bare metal again and causing premature rust on the car. And no thanks, I don't want that. I live in an area where there's a lot of salt in the wintertime, and I'll pass, thanks. So I'm going to try some neodymium magnets. I found some thin ones. They're about an eighth of an inch thick, and these are called an N42 neodymium. It's kind of one of the strongest ones you can get. There's an N52 as well, but after that little test you saw me do, they stick quite well, that I probably don't need any further preventives to keep that slipping down if one were to push it down, say, whatever. These hold quite well. I cover these in black Plasti Dip just to protect the surface of the coating of the magnet in case they want to prematurely corrode or something like that and transfer that corrosion over to the paint, what have you. That also gives it a protective edge, so when you do slap it on the body, it doesn't cause any rubbing or scraping directly on the paint. So I'm trying to prevent rust that way too. It shouldn't be an issue after I did that there. As far as mounting it to the underside of the rocker molding, there is a total of, let's see, there's a small hole on both ends, and then there's 5 bigger ones across the bottom here. So I need to see what the heck's going on to where I can make that fasten. There's this little flap here of sorts. I think you're supposed to reuse this fastener here. Like I would remove this and then put the panel up and fasten it back on. And the front should be, you know, with the length of this skirt, I think this goes over this plastic molding versus slipping under it. And I'll show you why here in a second. Back on with just the magnets. I have it butted up against that as far as it'll go, more or less. Now when I come back here, the gap here is minimal. If I were to put that skirt behind the fender well cover, this would probably be scooted back about a 1/4 inch. It's still sticking out now because I haven't taken this flap off, and when it does, this should be able to slip up and become flush with this edge again. So I'll start by taking the fasteners off and this flap off, and also trying to find if there's more plugs I'm not seeing yet on the underside to where I can fasten them through these big holes too. Sure enough, alongside these big plugs, corresponding with these holes here, if you look straight up, there is more plugs, but they're buried under that dang undercoating, and that might be a little job to access. There's 2. That one's really hard to see, but 3, 4, and 5. Now if I can figure out how to dig those out, I think I'll be in business. Well, I managed to find those plugs there under the undercoating at the cost of scraping up the paint, I'm sure. I had to use something metal to scrape off that coating. It's quite hard, and I was using the end of a flathead screwdriver. Well, I got the coating off, but I have a feeling I was scraping metal. I'm not 100% sure. I'd rather undercoat these once I get the plugs out. I found all 5 of them. Next step is actually getting them out of the body. Let me try to pry on them. Things are in there. Probably doing it the whole wrong way, but hey, there we go. Huh, wet and muddy in there. But it's out. On the front, there's 2 fasteners. You use a number 2 Phillips to get the center portion loose. If you look close, there's the inner portion and then the outer ring. If you hold that outer ring while you unscrew it with the screwdriver there, the center will pop loose, and then you can pull the whole works out. And there's going to be 2 of them, one underneath there too. And there's another one there. And there's 2 different fasteners on the back side holding it, but you should be okay with just undoing this one and then just kind of moving this out of the way when you go to put the rocker on. That one's a little slopped out. That one was a disaster. I ended up stripping the middle out, and I couldn't get it to budge at all, so I had to use a different method of getting a pick like this and starting it into the, oh, there we go, pry it into the edge there and just brute force the center part up, and it'll eventually pop open. And this one, it wouldn't budge because it was full of mud in there, so apparently I have mud inside the rocker. However it gets in there, you know, probably gets in through the wheel well here somewhere. I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, the front one was the same way too up there. I had to pry it out with this little pick tool. So get one of those to add to your list too, as well as that little Phillips. And heck, maybe even more of these while you're at it, because this one is shelled, but it'll do the job for now. I got all my holes popped open, and what I'm going to do eventually here, I'll mock this whole thing up and put the fasteners in just for a test fit, and then I'm going to take the panel back off, and I'm going to tape this off after I clean these holes out inside the best I can. I'm going to prep this whole underside with a little Scotch-Brite pad, and then I'm going to get some bed liner and lay a coat on here. Not only to protect those holes, but the skirts will have these little openings right here, probably in this area here or so, because that's where the jacking points are. You want to jack up on the bare metal versus, you know, pushing up the plastic of the skirt too. So that's kind of a good idea. So I'll have that nice and black again. I see this in its previous life lived on dirt roads, so it looks a little chewed up. Get that nice and black again. Let's mock this up. And by the way, these are the retainers for the underside of the skirt here. I ended up getting a bag of 20 off of eBay. They were about $10 or so, depending on where you get them from. But if you get these from Subaru, which I hope this doesn't bite me in the ass for being an aftermarket part, but when you get them from Subaru, these are about $4 a piece, and you need a total of 10 of them, but they probably last longer. We'll see how these work. But this is the style that you need. I'll round up the part number here, and I'll probably put it on the screen if I think about it, so you know what to get later. And I'll find the part number for these Phillips screw ones you need. You would need a total of 3 of them per side for 6. So I'll add that part number to the screen here too. Just snaps on a little bit. That's good. And out of the way too. Nice. A note on this flap here, I was thinking this needed to come out of the way completely, but I believe it stays in place there and still fits in that gap between the metal body and the rocker panel. And then when you fasten it, it should press up into place. And it's about as even as a person's gonna get it. I guess, there we go. It looks better. Yeah, it's about as even as one can get it. It sticks out not even quite as far as it does up front. So I think I have this aligned pretty well. Not to mention the holes there is, I can get that to lighten up, focus. There you go. Yeah, and the holes all lined up, and I should be ready to put that fastener in there too. Cool. I'll put the rest in later after I do my undercoating. So yeah, I like how that looks. I'm kind of glad I did it, even though it was an enormous pain to deal with. Those magnets are sticking as well as I anticipated. And this is what I was talking about, by the way, with those notches cut out. You see this exposed area where the jacking points are, both sides. I'm going to paint that black, make that look nice again, because once you're at a distance from the car, you can see these little notch areas too. Get that coated, get around these holes coated, and that should be done. So there you go. If you want to tackle this endeavor for yourself, it's kind of a lot of work, but it does look pretty good when it's done. It's just a matter of up to you if you have the patience to do it proper. Get yourself some bed liner and stuff to recoat that down there, just for safety's sake with the rust and whatnot. Get yourself some neodymium magnets to attach it on the side. Get yourself some brand new fasteners, including those little ones on the front and trailing sides too, because those are going to be a hassle. Likely it's going to be dirty like mine inside the rocker molding, and you're better off just replacing those too. So thanks for watching. I hope you found that helpful. I made this video because I couldn't find another one online as to how this goes. So good luck doing your own. Hope this helps you out. Coated enough. By the way, if you want some undercoating that's really good for stuff like this, get this Duplicolor truck bed coating right here. You can get this at just about any parts store. The part number is TR250. And it's pretty awesome stuff. It's really easy to deal with. You don't need any primer or anything like that. Just scuff up the area you want done. Put a little alcohol in it, prep it, and then spray a coat on 2 or 3 from about foot and a half away. And then maybe if you want it to look like have a good texture to it, stand like about 2 feet away and give it one last quick swipe, and it'll leave like a nice textured finish on there. It looks really nice, like an actual truck bed liner. It's perfect for stuff like this, so very recommended.